When Zoom started, and all through its existence, it's been up against competing offerings from Microsoft, not so much Amazon, although you can kind of video call over the Alexas, Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, okay, every single big player plus Cisco, okay, have all been in this space. And yet, and indeed, their investors, when they went around looking for startup cash, their investors, a lot of investors just said, look, what are you getting into this category for? It's already baked. It's done.
Yeah.
Right? And they were convinced, for various reasons, that there was still huge untapped potential, which I think they were undoubtedly, well, obviously right about. But I would have agreed with them at the time that this is still heavily underused as a technology. And what they did was, first of all, it was built for the cloud, which means that the heavy, grunty processing work goes on in the cloud, which means that one person's shit computer doesn't ruin the experience for everybody else, I guess. But essentially making it cloud-based was a huge advantage, which also meant it worked in the browser, so total idiots could click on a link. They also didn't do the stupid Skype thing where one person had to call another like it was a phone call.
Yes.
They made it much more analogous to a meeting room. So you had the URL for the meeting, which was a work of genius, because it utilized something that people already knew how to do. Click on this. If you don't know how to do that, you've probably been having a really tough time using the web for the past 10 years, right? It didn't have that stupid synchronicity requirement where, every single time someone arranges a Skype call with me, they ring me and then I miss the call and end up ringing them back and it's a total arse. Now you imagine that multiplied by 8 people, it'd be kind of shit.
Yeah.
And they also did a few clever things. Gallery view, I think, the choice of view, the fact that it works well within the browser, the fact that it's link-based, the fact that there was a simple number for the meeting, and the fact that until recently you didn't need a password or any crap like that. I mean, undoubtedly some of their success came on the back of slightly lax security, but what you found was that people happily, given the choice between, most business meetings aren't like, this is, it's not like MI6, right? I mean, most of what we spend our time chatting about is not really hyper confidential.
No.
And when it is, it is. And so, there were things you could do like lock the meeting. And so, okay, a few people got porn bombed. I don't think it was, it wasn't like a major breach. And so a lot of things about it, I think, were, it just made things, it got things across the crappiness threshold in about 5 different ways. And the quality, oh, by the way, the other thing they did, which they were definitely right about, now they weren't the first people to notice this. Most other people obsessed about the visual element, okay? And actually, the human brain is so good at decoding expressions, if you think about it, in faces, that you can depict Abraham Lincoln with something like 20 dots. We go, that's Abraham Lincoln, and he's looking happy. So we're so good at decoding visual stuff, and we can cope with corruption of the picture. We can't cope with corruption of the sound. And what Zoom got right was they focused on the sound. It was sort of like sound first with vision as good as we can make it.